Yeah.
Bro, is recording or
Already?
already? So we are on now.
Hi.
Have to have
Okay.
a countdown. Topic countdown.
1, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So
How are you guys today?
pretty good.
All is good.
Saturday is always good because
Yeah.
we know that tomorrow is Sunday.
Yeah, it means
Right?
you have another day
And
in
we're
the
gonna
weekend.
rest so we can.
Resting's good. Yeah. Sometimes when I rest, what do you guys do on the weekend?
A weekend.
Like your favorite things on the weekend?
I mean, a part of being in the gallery because we always come to the gallery even Saturdays and Sundays. But
Yeah.
apart from doing that, like if I have to go to the beach or go for a barbecue with friends, I like to go.
I mean, the gallery is in a really good location for that because the beach is already there, and you can also come here, see
Yeah.
amazing things, and then go, "Oh, I'm bored." Or
Especially when you are blocked. I mean, your mind blocked with creativity. You just stop. You just cross the street, go to the beach.
yeah, exactly.
You know, jump into the water and then come out and refresh in your brain and your connection with the water again and see the sky and then good to come and
Back.
paint.
Yeah.
That happened to you guys? Like,
Yeah, I do.
what about you, Henry? I see you're quiet there.
Henry.
Spend a lot of my
Well-
weekends painting.
I mean, for me, it's like I think every weekend is different still. Like you really can't make plans. Like I mean that's probably why Sunday is probably so cool still because I could get up and just do anything. It's like a free day in a way.
I think it being demanding your brain, being creative, it gets you tired at the end of the week.
And rest is so
And
important.
yeah, you need to rest. You need to do
Yeah.
something else. Like,
Yeah.
like for
outside of the
example, today
routine stuff.
I went to eat some fish at Golden Town because usually here in town you just get fast food or
Yeah.
go to the supermarket buy the same every day, and then you remember that at least on Saturdays or Sundays you go and get some fish, fresh fish in Golden Town.
Take the drive out.
Yeah, and eat good fish too. Maybe you come like inspired to do something after that.
See something on the way.
Modern Town it's a little bit far out, but is it a little bit different from being here? What do you like about Bottom Town?
Well, at least you can breathe some fresh air. I mean, I'm not saying this contaminated over here, but at least you see trees, more trees than over here. And you feel like you are in a nice place, like a virgin place at some
Yeah,
point.
you get like
When
a
you're going
peace of
around
mind.
there,
That's true.
still
It's a little bit
people
different.
humble.
And then after that, you get the reset, and then you can come back and like start painting again. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes that's how I feel about when I paint. It's like for me, it's a relaxing thing. And now when I'm now moving into painting as like my career, it's like it's going to be my work. So I'm interested in how I'll feel about that too. Like for you, it's like, oh, my relaxing time is for me to take a reset, go and drive out, have some food, have a meal, come back, and I can go back to work, like do and get that creativity again. So I wonder what that shift will be like for me, because I'm like now getting into art as like my work.
You think you
Yeah.
might start to look at it like more like as a job.
Yeah. Like, oh, but at the same time, it's my job, but I enjoy it so much. It's creative and everything. But you still sometimes need that change,
Yeah.
We
sometimes
call that
you hit
that
a
we
challenge
just-
or something.
when we find our passion is when you know that you don't need to call anymore a job,
Mm,
something because
Exactly,
it's your
'cause it's-
passion.
Exactly.
that's a good point.
You might probably work harder or
Yeah, like you still meet some challenges, even though it's something that's your passion. Like sometimes you're like, oh,
but
what color do I use? Or like, what am I going to paint this time? Right? Like, you
all
might
this
have
Yeah,
those
effort
like
you put in
blocks, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
because you know that all this effort you put into develop your art, your skills, and your art, and you just want more and more, and you just keep working. And
So you
trying
have
to do
to
it
keep
better.
looking for new ways to inspire yourself.
what about you, Henry? what inspire you? Like when you find inspiration in what type of things?
Being alone.
Being alone. Interesting.
Yes, I understand. Can you please hold this first? I know I couldn't. You hear a lot of sound. I'm sorry.
Let me take it. Okay.
Okay. From the chain inside.
The chain inside? Yes, I will. Oh, you could hear the chain.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right.
So Henry, you were saying that you love being alone. That means that you love to be on silent, or it doesn't matter. Can you be alone in a noisy place?
No,
Can you get inspiration?
sometimes painting is good. Yeah, yes. When I'm painting something, right, I can be very connected with my painting, like emotional. I put a lot of feelings into some of my work.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you finish, sorry, if you're gonna continue.
No, go ahead.
I wonder if you can paint in situations like, for example, if you are with anger, like a mad or sad, or
Yeah, like the
with anger,
emotions.
and
Yeah.
then that can turn you into, okay, I need to paint this feeling. Can you do that, or you just can paint when you are relaxed or chill or happy?
Very
I
good.
mean, at some point, I believe every artist have tried painting while feeling this way, being angry or sad, you know, mostly
So
angry. And somehow it surely can have an impact on some of your work.
Yeah.
I, by experience,
Depending, right?
I know that what Henry was mentioned is that when he came here, like around what, more than a year, right? When you came here to the gallery for the first time, you
Yeah.
showed me your artwork,
Yeah, too.
and I didn't know too much about Henry, and Henry was going through a hard situation for him. So he just showed me those paintings that he did during that time, and I felt a lot of anger in these paintings. A
Yeah.
lot of their painting for me. Remember that I told you that I feel like there are a lot of dirty into it, like the colors dark, negative, scream,
Strong.
strong, and then
Scream, scream.
well, I scream in the sense of, explode,
Yeah, yeah.
and make waves.
Crazy, chaotic,
Exactly, like explosion, like this gross, this, there.
madness.
And I thought at that moment, wow, this guy can express proper his artwork without having to make something,
Yeah, yeah.
Refined.
I give a hint.
figure to express. And I thought, like, this is a great artist, and regardless of if the painting looks nice or not, you can see the
The emotions,
feelings there, the
yeah.
emotions there
Yeah, it's really
through art.
raw.
It might probably, some of them, like I thought some of them would be too gross for, traditional family here that they want to put something pretty or happy. They might probably not. They would say like, no, I don't want this type of art, but because it's about art, you can't deny that it was a lot of emotions and feelings into the painting, so it might connect some way
Yeah,
with
yeah.
people right away. Like,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I thought like this is opportunity, so it started like a showcasing his work, and that's what it happened. Some people came like, oh wow, I feel
Connected,
like this
yeah.
way, and well, most of his paintings have been sold just because of that way. All people get emotional in front of the artwork. It make you feel a some way. It can be angry, it can be happy, and I experienced because I sell his piece, and I saw his piece, and
Mm.
I guess
He's
well,
definitely expressing something.
yes,
Yeah.
I guess it speak about the good artist, about knowing how, I mean, just knowing how to express yourself in the canvas.
Mhm.
It's challenging sometimes,
That's
but once you get it, you can master it, and it
Yeah,
can
you
be
feel the
easy to know.
connection.
true. Yeah. That's a good point. I think there's something to knowing how to also use a canvas, but like lose control on the canvas, because it's so different to how I like practice art. Like when I'm angry or I feel like a difficult emotion, sometimes I use art as my therapy. right? I do it and then it makes me feel calm and at peace again. Or I'm like, I'm just I'm just feeling kind of mad. If I do something that calms me down, which is usually art, then I can like think straight again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel in your case, like you use the emotion as the inspiration. I think that's amazing. And a lot of people can connect with that too. I also feel like, again, there is a skill in like losing control, but on a canvas. Because for me, it's such a different approach. Yeah. I really acknowledge that. So yeah, it's cool.
So I guess well, personally I paint different type of styles depending on the emotion
Yeah.
of the, when I feel like a really happy or chill, I can be more loose.
Yeah.
And I have some couple of styles that allow me to be loose in that sense when I feel happy, because I don't want to worry about any line or any detail in the painting.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Like you're freer.
mostly the most deep pieces that I painted when I have in a sad
Sad times.
in the sad times, or anxious, feeling anxious,
Yeah, I think
or just simply melancholic at some point.
yeah.
It can be
Okay.
many things. Like any situation can put on my mind something that make me feel like different stage. I mean, I know that I had to come to work and do things, but inside me, sometimes I feel in a way that I don't express it, with my face and everything. But it's I adopted. I mean, I accepted it as part of me as an artist, so I can capture certain scenes or inspiration when I feeling like that way. You know. So if I decide, for example, that I just want to do these activities, this just saying today, right? I going to the beach, I going to see the trees, or I go drive down to East End to see more natural scenes. And most probably when I come back, I paint something more cool, more relaxed, more like
Okay. Yeah.
something with nice colors,
Depending on the
beautiful to
mood.
see.
Yeah.
Exactly.
More pastel, brighter. Okay.
And then if I just decide to do activities that just take me, like I just staying home, or just you know be with me and trying to understand things, that probably make me bring all the ideas that the concepts are more deep, that it has a lot of meaning into it. So when I had to explain it, they understand why certain things in the painting, and it's because of that. So I guess everybody has different ways to get inspiration, and what we all agree is that emotions are connected with it.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's definitely an
Emotion.
expression.
Yeah.
Mm.
At
Like
least that's how I look at it, to be honest. I
Well,
think it's
Emotional.
art
You
you
is
get
too,
very
definitely
guys.
expression.
emotional.
You
Yeah.
two guys is
yes.
like your
Emotion.
style is like
Yeah.
Very.
abstract, but you had to, with this abstract, at the same time express your feelings, which is
Mm,
I already believe that it's difficult to do it,
sure.
especially like
And know
what
when
to
to
do.
stop.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
what to
when
do
you.
when you are in front of the canvas.
The blank canvas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then being able to create an emotion, a movement, or energy,
Yeah.
it demands that you have to think. Like people might probably think that abstract is easy to do.
No, I don't think it's
Well, they
easy.
have a point, but not all the abstract, I think, are the same.
No, because chance is very like bold and like it's almost you have one shot and then you have to go, okay, that's when I need to stop because that's when it looks balanced. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Or
Like,
you need to
yeah,
think, or you need to think proper the
I
next
feel that.
movement.
Exactly.
Yes.
Once you get the first stroke or
Once you get the first stroke in, you have to start thinking,
it-
I guess, how to place certain things.
and you cannot come back to.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
It's one shot, pretty much.
because you picture in your head, and you know how you want it. And if it's coming like that way, like or you start all over again, or you
Yeah.
see what's going on
No, you
after
see
that.
what's going on, and it just takes you wherever. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Henry? You go random, or you just think about where you're gonna put these?
Yeah, just keep going. I just.
You're,
If I
you're
don't like it, I'll just keep working on it. It's not
Exactly. You
something
go
that
till
I
you feel
cannot
like
create. Like I do just get
just keep
lost.
going until you feel like, well,
It's
What
not
ab-
easy sometimes to keep that.
Yeah.
And what about you, Andy? Because your style is really detailed and demanding be
Yes.
so focused on there, like
Yes. So for me, it's always like I have a central idea of something I want to focus, or I want like my audience to focus on. And then I like to do detailing around it to draw the attention into the middle. I guess for me, it is that I plan it out. But when I plan it, it's for me like art. I use it as my like therapy. Like I feel for you, emotion goes into the art in a very bold and strong way. Maybe it also comes with like your identity because you guys are guys, right? You guys are men,
can we get a
right?
painting from Andy just to show a little bit here?
And like me being
The mushrooms
feminine,
are really
maybe
nice.
there's that like planning part of it that goes into it, you know? Oh,
Let me get this one. Thank you.
thank you. Oh, you want to show the turtle one?
So-
Yay.
So this is your
Okay.
favorite one?
This might be this one and also yours. Like once I did yours, that was my favorite. That was my
Okay.
favorite. So this would be like my first largest piece. It wouldn't be my favorite one, but it is my first like largest piece that I painted. Yeah, so I painted it of the caiman turtle.
So this is the biggest you go in this style, like the biggest format.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So this one I painted in Cayman because I also finally had access to larger pieces of paper. So I
Nice.
kind of was able to. And then I painted Dos Tortuguitas because I know that, you know, every time I go into the ocean, when I was here, I was obsessed with the ocean initially. And I would always go and snorkel and I would bump into turtles. Like in my first year, I maybe saw turtles like 8 to 12 times there in just randomly going out. So I wanted to then paint something about turtles just because, yeah, I just had such a connection to them. And I also know the Cayman Islands actually used to be called Las Tortugas, right? Because of all the turtles around the island. So I kind of, yeah, just decided I wanted to kind of
I
lay
want to
a
ask
spin
you.
on it.
I want to ask
Yeah.
you something. Do you do how you make mistakes, like a whole random
Yeah.
mistake? How much mistakes you do, or how often do you do
Oh my
this
gosh.
mistake?
Are you asking me this because this looks like it has no mistakes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
it's always
Okay.
because of that, because I
Okay.
see like it's so perfect, so neat,
Thank you.
fine
Thanks,
line.
guys.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
really kind.
I tried to see something where, but couldn't find anything. So I asked you, like, being honest, like, how you made mistake, and when you do a mistake, how you fix
How you
it,
correct it.
how you correct it.
I do sometimes make mistakes. I know when I have made little mistakes myself, but I do kind of think of ways to resolve them. So you can't really see the mistakes, but it might be that I have made a line subtly thicker because there is very with watercolor there's very little room for error. Yes, so you cannot really make a mistake. You need to judge with timing to get the right blend with yellow and green, and then after that, wait for
Otherwise,
it to
it's gonna
dry.
spread too much.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to also, if you want the color to blend in this way, you have to kind of wet the area first, and then you ink the side,
So
and
they
then
can spread a little bit.
yeah, so it bleeds in, and then you ink it from this side, and it bleeds in, and then the color meets in the middle. You
Mm.
let that dry, and then after that, you'll go over with another layer. So watercolor is also waiting for the
Very
layers to dry.
technical and very
Yeah.
you have to prepare even the surface before to
Yeah,
create special
exactly.
effects, some
Mhm.
particular effects.
Exactly. That's true.
Interesting.
So
That's what it looks so neat, because you have a totally domain of the technique.
yeah, exactly. I do have a good command, I guess, of watercolor. Like you need to have a skill of it. I would also watch a lot of tutorials. Like I didn't just become really good. It takes quite a lot of practice, you know? So sometimes I watch tutorials, and sometimes I would also psych myself up, like knowing, okay, I can't mess up. So I need to actually really kind of be in a calmer state, or think of it as a challenge that I want to push through. I think each of that kind of helps me. Like once I get to one level, I want to get to the next level. You know, it really
you
inspires
still
me
watch
to get.
tutorials.
Yeah, this is like sometimes I watch tutorials on how to blend more evenly. Like I know I want to keep this area as white as possible,
So
and so I need to just blend, like just have a little bit of the subtle blue come down a little bit more, you know? Yeah, things like that. You
I
just
can't
have
wait
to
to see
plan.
this when you get to the next level. He's already for me like amazing, like
Oh.
spectacular, And now you're saying that you need that you want to improve a lot, and the
Yeah.
technique styles just to get your work even better than it is now is really amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sometimes, like even sometimes with stippling, like if you can see, I'm not sure if the camera can, because I know how detailed some work is, but you can see stippling here on the side. So that's kind of like dotted. I use ink as well, so it's not just watercolor, but there's also a lot of other
So I
techniques that go into
The
the waves. Okay.
You was explaining you use as special technique for the like salt.
Oh, so for this particular wave, I didn't, but I did I did specifically use a granulating pigment. So you're right. Like it was something I had to think about. So this is a granulating type of pigment. So it's different from here. So I also do bear that in mind. So you can see this one dries and it's
So
completely
basically, this is a
one.
mixed media kind of thing at the same
Yes.
time.
Yeah, one tone, and this one has a bit more.
Into the same characteristic of ink and
Yeah.
watercolor.
Yeah, ink and
It's really
watercolor
cool.
together. Thank you. Yeah, so this did mean a lot to me.
I want to ask you
So,
something else.
yeah.
When do you have a moment in your artwork, a moment to be free, like that you don't need to be like a freestyling, like
Yeah. I guess it's only when I'm sketching. Like it's only the part.
you get the freedom.
Yes, I get the freedom when I'm sketching with the graphite pencil, and then I
So
can
this is-
also allow myself then to make mistakes if I.
So these are sketches first.
Yes. So it's first a
Well,
sketch.
but you are really good doing a sketch then.
Yeah, and then I decide on where the lines have to go. Yeah.
Nice.
First. Oh, thank you for saying. Yeah, I'm trying. I think sketching, I mean, also with graphite, you can get to many different levels, right? So there are people who really achieve great 3D in just using graphite and things like that. So for me, it's like combining all different types of, I guess mediums to
And
get to the final.
this is the waves are the influence from the Asian culture.
Yeah,
And that clash with
that's
the
true.
local culture, right?
Yes, exactly. So that is also a place, like I was thinking about it, like it's called Dos Tortuguitas, the island used to be called Las Tortugas. And like I myself came here. So I decided to also draw two because I realized it's almost symbolic of like local and international communities coming together and creating or shaping like more different types of culture, or like just shaping the cultural landscape in a new way. Like you're bringing in new culture or new ideas.
Absolutely.
So I see that as well in why I decided to draw this, or
And
why would it be so good to do an Asian inspired wave with the turtles?
That's the
So-
appreciation that you feel or express. That's why you decide to also bring your culture into the island
yeah.
into your art through your art
Exactly.
and absorb what they have too. That kind of happened to me too, and I guess most of the artists here, like at some point you get absorbed by the culture, and then you put your culture into this, and then you create a unique piece of art. That's something that I always speak about here in the island. You always create as an artist like a different type of art because you bring your culture and you absorb
Yes,
theirs.
exactly. And then you create new ideas. Like that's the best thing about art. Like you can do that.
Easy to
it's,
yeah, and it's easy to get inspired, because
Yeah.
it's the island's really calm and it's really chill and really friendly, and I think you get a different state of mind.
It's true. You're right. I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't feel welcome, or I didn't feel like I I liked being here, So I get what you mean. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks for talking about. I'm glad I got to talk about my piece so much.
It's really great. Thank you. So yeah, it's really cool. Like speak with art.
That's a really cool specific style.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yes.
how you call that style, by the way?
What, the Asian
The
style?
technique.
Or the technique of watercolor?
It just ink pen.
I call it watercolor and ink, but I don't think there's a specific style genre of it. Yeah. Like usually watercolor is done by itself. and it's quite delicate and
We
it's
need to
quite
find out
soft.
what kind of style can
Yeah.
is name it, because I don't have that knowledge.
Watercolor and ink together and creating really bold types of print-like styles or print-like paintings. I don't know if it has been done before. I use a technique that's called chinoiserie, which is like a Chinese technique as well, where they like kind of flood the ink on one specific part and let it dry and then layer and layer. So it's kind of, but they do that on silk paper. But I do it on just watercolor paper just for fun. Yeah.
So great, cool to know. And
Thank you.
something that you want to talk about, how you how you think about.
I want to know about you guys' techniques. Yeah.
Like, what's your let's ask this first. What is your artist that inspired you from the beginning? Like the one you say, oh, because I this guy, I want to grab a brush and paint and be an artist.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular, like, what about you, Henry? Let's start with Henry now.
Well, yeah, yeah, of course. Wassily Kandinsky,
Kandinsky? Oh,
father of the abstract, Pollock, of course.
so you always feel attracted by abstract like that way, with dripping or figurism or.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I kind of love Kandinsky when I was.
having the freedom, you know, like there no limitation to
Mm-hmm.
your imagination.
It's endless.
Yeah.
You can go, keep on and
That's
on,
true.
keep going on and on. So
Like a free will.
Yeah.
I think
it's
I think
like
you.
it's happening, you know. That's the thing. It also is like can be very challenging at some point. Painting with this type of freedom,
That's true.
Yeah.
you have such
Because I guess you
no
control it enough. You
limitation,
cannot
no
control at the
limits.
same time.
It's like you don't even know you don't even know where to start, with what to start, and even though you do start and going with the flow, at some point you kind of like just hit a wall, you know, like what next?
Yeah.
Like I think
Okay.
it's like you have control, and at the same time you don't have
You
control.
don't have control.
You know, because you can manipulate how you throw the paint, but how anything, whatever it comes out of that,
Exactly.
it might probably make it make it look good or make it look horrible.
Yeah.
And you need to work around that to fix it.
Yes, that's true.
Like those mistakes can extend the painting to pass from a couple days to weeks or a month,
Yeah.
because
point.
you don't feel good still with the painting until you get
Mhm.
it proper done, right? I think it happened to you a lot, because I see you that you get stuck at one particular time and say like, I don't feel it, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna come back the next day, and it might be just one touch that he do, you know.
Just one simple
Wow.
Yes, and then he
don't
just
feel it.
decide to stop, and then I don't feel it.
Wow. Okay.
So
Really?
I can tell that every trace is with feeling it.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, emotions really guide the painting, or when you hit a mental block at some point when you're looking at the painting and you go, it's something's not right about it. What do you usually think is the thing that's not right? Is it something you can like explain, or is it something that is a feeling, or is it something that's aesthetic?
Can be different reasons. It can be different reasons, something you feel, something you see, or probably just don't feel the painting at all. Or you just feel like just going over it or painting it fully white again and like over.
I have
But
seen.
then there's always the thought like give it time and come back. Take time, leave it, stop, take a break and come back again and
I personally saw
from there.
that once you did, remember last year you did one painting, and for me the painting already looks really really good, really spectacular. But
Ah.
after a month, it was like I don't feel it. I don't feel it. And then the feedback of the painting was really good, you know,
But
like
yeah,
people love it.
you
But he
liked
was
it.
like, I don't feel it, I don't feel it. One day I just saw like he's just a star, like erased and everything. And then when he finished painting the new one that he was
Okay.
doing, it came up like a spectacular, even better. It was the black sheep. That's the black sheep. You remember the painting black sheep? Well,
He covered that.
yes, that's the cover.
Oh, Black Sheep is the cover.
No, yeah, it's the cover
Of the one before.
of the one before.
Yes. Okay.
And the one
That's
before, what was the
awesome.
name of the one before?
Madman.
Madman. That's the name of the one.
Man.
And it was really good.
Mad.
But
Mad.
he didn't feel it because at some point it wasn't your style all of it. Right? Well, it was great, but I remember how the paint came.
But you know, situation is.
I think you were trying to do something more with a lot of figures, but it came out really good. People love that painting. And then it was like, bro, leave it. And it was like, leave it. And then, no, bro, he raised it.
Wow.
And
okay.
but at the end, it came out like an amazing painting, you know, that
Black
he
Sheep
managed
was a
to
hit
sell
for
at this.
So
at the
from
end.
Madman, you went to Black
Black
Sheep.
Sheep.
There must have been some kind of journey yourself.
Yeah. First, you was like fighting, and then the second one, you accept that you were the
Losing.
black sheep. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Right? It can be like that way. I don't know. I just.
Yeah, I would say.
What about you,
What's
Tian? What
that?
is your favorite the artist that inspire you?
I would definitely say Picasso
Oh,
for one, and John Michel Basquiat.
Michel Basquiat.
Yeah.
Oh, Picasso.
And just like what Henry said, it's just the freedom of how they create, and like there's no limits to it. Like no limits, no mistakes. So
Exactly.
yeah. And to be honest, just thinking that way as an artist, it literally sets no boundaries for my personal self as to what I can create or whatever is like whatever comes, whatever blank canvas it is. I'll find something to create.
Yes. How old was you when you get inspired by Picasso? It was a kid, or it was?
I think as a kid.
No. I mean, I don't know. You was as a kid, or you was like an adult.
Like me or him?
No, you. I'm talking about when you get inspired. How old were you?
By Picasso?
Yes.
Like probably shit. Like probably like 10 or 12, somewhere there.
Oh.
Yeah, but I was doing art before, like
yes,
and whatever. But I was like one of the first artists that
like you say,
saw
like,
that
oh, I
art.
like this, and
Yeah.
They're both very different artists. So can I ask why those two specifically? Because very, very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
One, to be honest, Picasso, the free will of black and white, pretty much. Right?
You love that
Yeah.
special moment of his style.
Exactly. And for Basquiat, it's really the boldness of the colors.
Oh my gosh.
And the colors and the shades. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And the simplicity, but it gets the idea
It's
across.
bold. It's
Yes.
simple, but it's saying something bold.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want your art to have that type of feel as well, like bold, like, and has an impression really quickly on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think, and that's something from the Basquiat like mindset again. Like it's like right there.
Yeah.
Like it just have to come out. You have to see it. Like
You have to
I
feel
don't
it.
even know how to explain it, but yeah.
You know, there's something that draws you to art that's also simple, but it gets the ideas just so real, and you can't deny it. So you just
Exactly.
stand there and look at it and ponder it for a while. It makes you think.
I
Yeah.
personally,
It's actually the idea becomes real. That's the thing about art.
Exactly.
You can make it real.
I personally
You
was
create it is there, like you know,
my influences.
it's there.
My influences actually, yes, it was Jean-Michel Basquiat too,
As well.
and Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
Wow.
see some of that in your work for
So-
sure. Yeah.
At the end, if you see now till now, this combination, and I keep it because I still draw like humans' bodies, very detailed and realistic, and then I can do a lot of abstract at the same time,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like I said, the freedom. The cool thing about it is like I think you guys can experience that. The freedom give you that looseness of not worrying about anything because you just express and you
Exactly.
trace the line, the color. You
No
don't have to
mistake.
think. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel that way, but also I love the technique also because I admire
Gosh, for sure.
Leonardo da Vinci, and
It's painstaking, the technique.
exactly.
Yes. Takes
So
effort. I agree.
so I trying to get this together, and that those are my two
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
artists.
see that.
Not the
I see
ones
your
that I love most
combination.
now, obviously, because I have a lot of artists that I love now, but those were my
The beginning,
influences.
yeah.
Yeah, the ones that I tell me, oh, willing to, grab a canvas and try to do my thing.
Mm.
What about you, Andy?
Me. Okay, so in terms of watercolor, I never had an artist that I went, wow, this is such amazing watercolor. Recently, though, as I've as I've kind of done more research or as I'm doing more watercolor and understanding more about my own style, I really am a big fan of an artist called Paulina Bright, and she's an Australian artist. She adds thousands of layers to her watercolors.
She's alive?
Yes, she's alive.
Nice.
Yeah, and she paints like she just has a very good understanding of how to layer very well over and create really nice detail with simple shapes and forms, and that's what I love about her art.
We need to find
Um,
her
Yeah, Paulina
art so we
Bright.
can
Yes.
show her.
In terms of culturally and aesthetically, like when I put compositions together and I want to do like a great wave or I want to do a planet in the distance and then have something in the foreground, I actually, my influence comes from the creator of Hokusai. The Great Wave.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Great Wave
Great
of
Wave.
of Katagawa. So, yes, he's actually his designs or his style is called ukiyo-e, which is a Japanese wood block print. So they carve it into a wood block, and the wave painting that you see is actually a wood blocked print, and then it's rolled over with different colors to
Yes,
print. Yeah,
it's
so
called
it's not
it's called a
actually.
lithography.
Yeah. So it's a
It's
lithograph.
an ancestral technique that
Yeah.
the Japanese
Yes.
artists do and they're mastering. They get like exact copies of these and
Yeah.
the style, and basically they have to engrave it in
They
stone
engrave it,
Yes.
or wood.
Stone or wood.
Yes,
It's pretty cool. The thing about Hokusai, it's a design house. So actually the people who make these layers, so make and carve the wood blocks, are a group of people under the design house Hokusai. So they're individual Japanese people that you don't know who they are, but yeah, they're like Hokusai gets the name of designing all these. Yeah.
it's very expensive now
Mm,
doing those type
yeah.
of things, and it's the old technique that has been proven as one of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's also like that simplicity aspect, right? So clean lines, but I also like to layer very complex color. So even though my lines are very simple and very distinct, the color part is where I add in the depth and the
I think they have
dimension.
hundreds of years that technique.
That technique.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
So well, really cool. So really interesting to know that
Yes.
inspirations coming from amazing artists, I guess, or at least artists that impact in society
Definitely.
in a
Sure.
positive way, right?
Yeah, and then help inspire and like create new
Yes.
ideas
New
from
ideas.
new artists. I think that's really great. I like what we're doing. I like that we're having this discussion.
You are.
Good? Yeah, definitely. All right.
Do you admire a particular technique in artwork? Like not necessarily has to be only. I mean, beside obviously your style.
Sure.
Like if you love another style, like you love to see or you wanted to practice it or you want to try. Do you have any
Sure.
in particular? Like starting with you, Henry.
I just want to keep painting, man. At this point, I just feel like my creativity can keep growing, new techniques, styles, you know.
No, but I'm talking about like if you
I think if I would
you admire like
yeah,
a
admire
a particular style. It can be realistic, abstract, surrealistic.
abstract, fully abstract.
So you don't like all the style, just the abstract.
I mean, I like other styles, but I mean, realistic, yeah, but I like abstract a lot.
Well, I guess you are very abstract,
It's a very abstract guy.
right?
I mean, yeah.
What about you, Tien?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, Lord Abstract, come on, fellas.
Definitely
Sounds like
admired.
it's a fight of Lord Abstract right here.
Definitely admired more like realistic stuff. Um, like I guess
Exactly.
anything realistic, to be honest. And I'm also even thinking like how to incorporate that in my abstract paintings as well,
Mm,
to kind of like have something realistic coming from it or
yeah.
in it. So
Just the ability to have like another style just to complement your
yeah,
abstract is
yeah,
really good to
yeah,
expand your style.
Yes.
and add different mediums as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, mediums and textures and but still in a cool, free way. I guess.
Freeway, exactly.
Being blessed with like being able to draw very realistic, like hyper realistic,
Yeah,
just so you can add it to your own art.
exactly.
You'd be like super artist, like superhuman
Yeah.
skilled artist. Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I think it would be sculpting or carving. I
Mm.
just think it's so. I don't know how people can see a block of marble and then carve the David out of it. I just yes, just having that gift from a young age, or just having that eye, and then knowing when to stop, or knowing, because I just hear how people talk about it. They need to like know what the marble sounds like, so they know when to stop carving if it's like a very delicate part, like you're carving someone's pinky finger, or
Going too deep.
carving hair. Yeah. So things like that. I think that's something I admire a lot. And it's such an expensive material, like you don't want to you don't want to
Damage,
waste
yeah.
it. Yeah. So it would be sculpture. I'd also love to do pottery. I think that there are so many different variations and combinations you can make.
So basically,
Yeah.
something that you can manipulate with your hands.
Yes, that's true. And get more
You're
messy, because I'm not.
manipulative.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see. Like I want it this way.
She mentioned messy. She mentioned messy. I mean,
Well, a
even when I'm
boyfriend can say
painting, I
that.
prefer to be like
Is that
crazy
true?
messy.
Yeah,
Is
you
that true?
see. No.
Manipulate. See, your boyfriend is saying that you are like that.
I'm not trying to mold. I'm trying to shape. Because yeah.
I think
see what you
sculpture
mean.
is really cool. I like sculpture too. Yes, I mean, for me, sculpture is one, and then, well, in the painting area, I think impressionist. I like the impressionist style. Because I at the beginning I tried to go to more realistic, and then when I just get to the point that it wasn't about that. Like
Okay.
I
see.
didn't want
I know what
to.
you-
I don't. I didn't want to just prove nobody. Like well, I feel at the beginning when I start, like I needed to prove that I can draw really realistic and this and that. And then at the end, I said like, well, I get message of this man was the curator of the National Gallery in Honduras, and Don Neto, that was his name, and he told me, Carlos, you paint really good. I will never forget this, because he would say like, Carlos, he loved my style and everything, but he was like, at the beginning, Carlos, you paint really really good, really nice. Of course, because if you're an artist, you have to paint really good. That's not a big surprise. You have to do it, and but that's nothing. That doesn't mean nothing to me. He told me just straight like that, like you paint good, but now show me what you can do. And I'm not talking about that you have to draw really nice. Show me, give me an emotion.
Yeah,
Make me
something,
connect with
something.
something.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
that kind of you know conversation that I have with this man is like, wow, I need to learn from this guy, and then I need to get this advice because it was true at the end. I tried to create. I tried to put emotions because at the end it's about putting your emotions in the painting, and that's what they were. The phrase say you have to just paint what you love, paint for yourself, don't paint for people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
because
I
if you
see what
paint
you
for
mean.
people, basically you just get in this image because I know that
It's
you.
like a copy and paste situation.
So basically that was the critic that he told me at that moment. And when I thought that I was doing really good, he teach me something really important, and I just get back. You know what? Makes sense. And I just start painting for my own visions, my own, you know.
Your own creativity.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. So,
because you're right. There are going to be many great technical artists out there, right? People who are great at technique and can make beautiful, genuine, like I don't say genuine copies. Is there such a thing? Copies. So when you're talking about showing an emotion or when someone sees their art, you're making them feel, and it can be looking at something that might not require a lot of technique. It's a simple idea, and then they give it like you got the feeling from it. So
and now
yeah.
see now what I'm doing. Like for example, I don't want to go anymore like into hyper realistic or so because
Like you know you have the technique.
because now I find out that is for me from my perspective, for me as an artist, more difficult to, for example, do impressionist, which is the thing that I want to get into. You know, I know that sounds like oh, that's not your style. That's kind of your style is different, this and that, more abstract with realistic, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of like those type of arts, like the ones from Van Gogh or from Manet or Monet, that you had to put those big traces there, and then use like a kind of puntillism style,
Yeah, exactly.
and at the end you are creating like a very realistic, super realistic
Yeah, but
painting
from afar,
from far.
it's
And when you
that
get
technique.
close to this, you just see like it's not that the proper blending or whatever. It just put the painting one next to each other or put on top of each other,
Yeah.
For sure.
and then
Crazy Mon yeah.
and then for me
Monet.
that's
Oh
more
my
difficult.
goodness.
So I wanted to try
So
to
it's
do
like a
it.
challenge.
It's like a challenge. I made a couple of ones here. Then not look bad. They they're decent. But yeah, I would love to at some point get to have the
Yeah, I think
domination.
so. I see what you because I think that takes a lot of skill. You're working with such a gigantic canvas as well, and then having to create those shapes. Um,
In history, like
yeah.
they were like always criticizing impressionists, the Monet era. Actually, Monet was the one who put the term. Well, not him, but because of one of his paintings, these were like impressionists came up just because the academic artists back in those times, they were like a painting just like a Renaissance with those like a Da Vinci's kind of style, like a very sophisticated, very the blending, the drawing, it was had to be immaculated, like a really really nice. And
Okay.
when these type of artists start coming out with this style that you just put paint, they were like criticizing all this because they were saying that they don't have technique to paint something really cool, like they don't have technique to blend the proper colors to create something realistic, because they were into the realistic kind of thing back then, and they didn't accept it. So they just decide to don't incorporate it in the big salon of
Mm.
where all the
Yeah.
artists were exhibiting the best art. So they create their own, let's say, brand. And then they just because of one of these guys criticized and telling like, oh, they're impressionists, like but not talking about they get impressed. It's just like they kind of print what they see, like without having the technique.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what the name is came up from, because of that. And now it's funny to know that for me personally, now that I can go into realistic too if I want and do it really decent and good, you know. but finding now that it's more difficult for me trying to do a impressionist style. You know,
Right. Understand.
is
Yeah.
because I know that, for example, I know that if I want to blend something that looks really realistic or 3D, whatever, I know what I had to do. I had to take my time to do, soften slowly and do the blending, take your time. But when I trying to go like put a color next to each other just to get this transition, it's like, oh, I don't know if I had to put it here.
Yeah. Or I have to stand further
But
back and check and then go back and then yeah.
should I put it more closer
Yeah.
or farther? Like it's a lot of the things that you have to understand. I guess through the practice of it. So I want to practice more like that style because it's kind of difficult for me to make it look like it's random, like a freestyle, like a loose. You
As
know
an
what I'm saying?
artist that has you have had so many years as well and you really have mastered like the genre, and you mastered like acrylic really well. So I do think that realistic painting for you is not as challenging, and now you have this challenge as well. And I think that's really cool that again you are trying to get to another level as well. You're trying
Yes,
to push yourself
absolutely.
as an artist,
Because
like grow.
because
Yeah.
I can figure out now like how my art can improve to better if I can just the two techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it can be a mix of being technically fast and loose, precise at the same time, and mix all these because it gives you texture to enrich your canvas because like impressionist you have to put a lot of paint into it, like a lot of thickness if you want to do it like in the classic style,
Yeah.
obviously, but that's what I want to do, like get this classic style.
Yeah.
Something to say, bro?
No,
Sorry, like I get
Go
excited talking.
go on, bro. You
Sorry,
got
my bad,
out.
bro.
Go on. I'm listening.
Well,
Sitting
just
first.
just talk, like
Like, come on, listen, and techniques you want to learn.
well, you want to add something?
What are
Yeah.
do you think that like what are ways that you guys want to push yourselves or like go to the next level as artists?
I
Like, do
have
you
a
guys want to grow, or do you think art is just like, oh, this is I'm happy with my like just my level now.
Like
Like
a you
I
like you say you they don't want to like if like a go to the next
Like
level.
grow.
Like
how do you
improve.
guys
You gotta
think you
take
might
it like
grow as
more
artists?
pro, like take it more serious. Take it more serious, like
Exactly.
if you push yourself to become like a professional, very
To me, you always want to learn
successful
more. Anyway.
artist, very
It's about learning.
famous,
It's about practicing every day.
networking,
Okay.
Like you can feel like you draw really good when you're a kid, and people might say, your parents might say, "Oh, this is a super skill." But the truth is that you already come with a talent, but you need to practice every day so you can see how really good you are, like how your the skills can take you if you're willing to put,
the practice,
the yes,
time, right? The
yeah, like
dedication,
you need to.
hard
It's
The
work,
exactly.
discipline.
long
It's a-
hours.
I every day I was just drawing every day, and not because I had to draw every day to get better, and just because I love to draw. And when I was a kid, I loved to draw a lot. So behind my books and in school, I always get like you always calling my mom saying, "Oh, Carlos never doing like the maths."
No
I
work.
can
Just
imagine
for
that
Just
happens
drawing.
to you,
I was
Carl.
like that
C
too.
and all that kind of things, and
That's
but
cute.
it's just because I love to draw, and then eventually I know that every time I was getting better because well, my brother Frank, he draw too. At this point, no, as me because obviously he don't his art he took it another way. Like now he work with wood and
Carving
build
stuff.
things.
I
Stuff
mean,
like
you
that.
have a work next to you that is done by Frank.
Okay, by the way, yes, this
Come
Fran
on,
did this
like
one out of
that's
wood,
Frank
so
over
he
there.
took his art into other level. Like he get like machines to get wood, transform, create
Cut the letters and everything.
everything. Yeah,
It's a very
piece of wood,
meticulous
everything.
work, right?
Yeah.
This is Frank. So this is your brother.
Yeah.
who did this.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize it was your brother.
now you understand why I for me was the perfect collaboration uh, artist to make the Mona Lisa and the girl with the pair of earring, just because
Yeah.
you have the patience to cut all this wood and precise way and be constant. And I couldn't do it myself. That's that's too much.
It's very
So
repetitive.
this artwork exists just because of that collaboration.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it couldn't be like the way it comes.
And then after that, you put the girl with the pearl earring into a pixelated
Format,
format,
and then count each pixel of,
to
and then
have-
tell
That's-
Frank cut all these whatever thousand
Pieces.
pixels, and then I will have to copy the exact color, match the pixel with the painting.
Wow.
It was challenged,
Yeah.
because you have to at some point get the same colors. Otherwise, you won't get that blending effect or the fact that it gets the.
Yeah.
We'll drop a picture of
different.
the artwork they are talking right now. That is
Hmm?
2,400 Gioconda piece.
What do you say?
To the audience, the artwork you guys are talking that you did with Frank.
Yeah,
Please.
that's what I'm saying. The
We'll drop the
2,400
picture here.
2,400 tiles. That's
He
what
not
we
hearing
named
it?
2,400
Oh, like
Giocondas.
have it here, as in because it's there. Yeah, because we're looking at it over there. Can't see the painting.
So, but before that, I don't remember what it was we were talking. It was mentioned something. I never finished what I was about to say. We were
Yeah,
we mentioned Frank, my brother, but I was saying something that I just forgot. Anyway.
Shit.
Oh, sorry.
Something else.
Well, I don't know why you laughing, bro. So
It was
No, but you had a
important.
good collab. Like, I think it's cool that you and your brother have kind of, I would. You have a good relationship, right? And then you also.
I remember now.
collaborate. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's
I
okay.
remember now.
No?
We were talking about that I can draw when I was a kid, and I know that my brother, he can draw too. And back then he was 2 times better than me, or 3 times better than me drawing. He was faster and he had more accuracy. He domained better the perspective, and I think that kind of helps me to have a brother who was challenging to try to beat him, because we were competing all the time. Like we were like, let's draw this Spider-Man. Let's see who gets better. I'm gonna beat you if this start drawing. You always win, always win. You know,
Oh,
and
man.
and I was like, I
But
get
who
to get closer,
decided?
get closer. Yeah.
Who decided which one was the better Spider-Man?
No, I mean at the
judged?
end,
You could see it.
you can
You
see
can see
it.
it.
You
Okay,
can
we
see
accept
it. I accept it. I never get that mad like in the way to fight, but I was like, damn, I got to do it again and get closer. And at the end, it was like, you did it really good this time. So I know that I was getting better, because every time I was trying to, okay, I need to get my brother's level. I need to paint fast. I mean, draw faster and more. Domain the perspectives and everything. And obviously now, like
That's cool.
I have like a big distance now, because like I say, he went
He-
the other way, but he's really good way.
Took a different
Yeah.
path.
But you
And
guys kind of still work together.
he draw now, but for example, paint, he can't paint. Like I mean, he paint, but obviously, like you can see he's a material in this thing. So I think he just do it for fun sometimes, and he just gets to his style, like
Yeah.
create.
That's
You
a
know?
really cool piece.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I suggest to all kids that want to, get into this, or people in general, because, you can be artists at any age. And they just have to keep painting every day, because some of them just paints one piece and they believe that that's it, that they should call me artist or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. And I think you have to paint if you want, especially if you want to get into this, like see as a profession, you have to paint every day.
I think practicing and just like you also paint every day, or at least you need to paint an experiment so that you know what type of artist you are.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Just find your way.
You have to.
I
Try first.
in my
Paint.
journey as an artist, it's like at the beginning I didn't know what I was doing at some point, I just wanted to keep painting to find myself.
Yeah. Until you
Which
find a
way?
style or whatever.
So do
Exactly.
you have a style
No, I
currently?
mean I never
I
had a
mean,
style,
with-
but at the same time you create a style, not having a style.
Exactly.
Like you don't invent anything, you know, but you can personally label it in a particular way. Because I remember that a lot of friends that were artists, and some of them they're coming from the academy, they were like, Carlos, you paint good, but the only problem is that you paint different things. You have to stuck into one
Stick to
particular
one
style.
thing.
Yeah. And that's because it's like that way, and then people will follow you. I understand from the perspective of for someone a gallerist that willing to represent the artist. Mm, well, majority of the galleries they want to have a particular style of you. They don't want to deal with you just if you have this because they don't know.
It's like
They
chaos.
cannot brand you or sell you in a particular way to
Yeah.
the clients. You know, so they basically choose the style that they like most, and then this is the one they're gonna present. It will be easier, and then I recommend you to just keep painting that style, this and that and that. That happens to a lot of
So they
artists.
get
Yeah.
controlled.
And also from the academy, some of them they teach that way. Like they were like they come up with this mentality. Hey, you have to paint this particular style, find your style, but stick it to it, and develop your career from there. And I think it might work for some of the artists. Like there's a lot of artists do that. Like they just do something in particular, and then they get famous. You know, but I think as an artist, I go more for the creative art. So I don't need to be. I need to have my mind blocked just because I am painting particular style. I need to have my brain open to
To
express in
anything.
different
Yeah.
ways, and not necessarily, oh no, I would love to paint this style or say something with this technique, but I can't because I just paint like
But that gets boring though.
girls with long necks, just saying, because this is the style. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
I mean, again, is art.
I mean, it's nothing wrong.
everyone
I
has
don't.
the freedom to.
No.
Yeah.
But even in the abstract, you don't paint the same every day.
No.
It's different.
How can you teach abstracts sometimes? I also wonder.
Pain.
I don't think you can teach it.
Yeah, because
Feel
I
free.
do agree. Like you make so many good points about how sometimes with art you can go a very traditional route where okay, you take an education, you can go to school, maybe you discover what medium you're very good at, and then you keep going from there. So there's that guidance for you sometimes with knowledge, but then there's also just discovering your art and discovering that you have a talent, or discovering you have the passion for it and that you want to keep practicing art by yourself because maybe you don't have the opportunity to go to school,
Yeah.
right?
I have met
You don't let it stop you, maybe in a way. You don't, if you really want to be an artist.
I have met some artists that friends of mine that were from the academy, and I didn't find his art interesting or anything. Like
Right. Okay.
you don't see what is the
Yeah, like
learning?
you don't see the passion there.
And obviously, there's some other people that they don't have the sources to go to the academy. Like me, I couldn't have that an opportunity.
Okay.
But that didn't stop me for learn. I just visit teachers that I met, people, artists that I met, all people that at least give me a tip or something. And
Well,
then
you gave me a tip. You gave us tips.
and then yeah,
To start us off.
and then the rest I had the technology there, the internet.
And you learn
Just
from
look
there.
videos.
Yeah.
So and then
Yeah.
that I think that has the 50% of the learning, and then the other 50 is your practice, because obviously there's a lot of things that you learn that it doesn't come in the videos that you see, or it doesn't the teacher don't tell you that way. It's just in the practice because you
Yeah.
experience you are the only one to
You
experience
feel in the texture
feeling
and
of the
everything.
texture, the painting, the smell, the brushes, the canvas, the surface, whatever. And all these mistakes or experience that you are experiencing while you're painting is enrich your skills, the knowledge, the techniques, and in that sense, I think when you are in a way like okay, free to do whatever, kind of makes you experiment. If you are like very curious about how to do things, you will experiment. And in the experiments, you will find out techniques or styles or effects or whatever other things that help to improve your art in a better level that people from academy don't have because they don't want to break those rules. They were
No, they follow in the line.
exactly. They're very
Oh,
here. They're very
like-
academic. It's still there is no like a good relationship between artists paint, oil paint, or acrylic paint. There is still always that sense of oil paint is better.
Better, yeah.
This is this and that. They just have to understand that it's just another material.
Yeah.
It's like when you paint. I don't know if you do it now, but back they like people, if they decide paint a house with oil paint, they just paint it, and some other just water based paint.
Okay.
It's just matter of taste. If you want
Exactly,
more
it's your
glossy
choice.
or more
Exactly,
matte,
that's true.
and it's
You
the
want the
same thing.
style or
Of
no.
course, I understand some points about the quality of the finishing if you prefer, but it's just a preference.
It's just
You
a
know?
preference, even if it's
For doing
certain
some
blends or
for doing
anything.
some blendings in oil paint, if you find more convenience, that is your preference. There is some other people that want to do it in the acrylic way, like because you just love to get there, knowing that it's acrylic, that it dries faster, so you have to do it faster and get the skill right there, and apply all the knowledge that to make the same effect of this, what you decide to do. If you do it a blending for a sky or for a sunset
Yeah.
or a portrait or whatever, and because what if I just don't have when I was younger? What if I just don't have money to buy expensive oil paints? It still will stop me for getting this blend.
Exactly.
I will do it with acrylic. and
Find a
that's
way
what
to do it.
happened. So now when I get some oil paints and I try to do something, is I find it's really easier
Yeah.
do it in oil paint. But I miss other aspect of the acrylic because then I have to wait.
Yep.
And I
You
don't
don't
want
want to
to.
wait.
Okay. Okay.
Then you
That's
have
true.
to, this is other things. And
Yeah, sometimes you have to think about the practicality of your materials. I understand that too. That's kind of why I also chose watercolor and ink, because I felt like it was a resource that I wouldn't run out of so quickly. I felt so it was almost like when I chose to specialize more in watercolor and ink, I thought about the practical side. I thought about how long I could make my materials last for me. Yeah,
Mm.
so something that I actually bear in mind.
in your case, you expend
Yeah.
you spend more painting.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It depends. It's not just painting, especially for me, because with the sizes, it's a
Oh,
canvas.
yes.
Yeah.
I personally think that the abstract and big sizes is way better than small size.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But the cost of it, it's pretty pricey, but most of that price
Yes.
goes into, I think, canvas.
You paint like a
It might
10
be
feet,
painted.
8 feet, 6
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
Well, Henry has a big
Gorgeous.
painting, like a more than 3 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a lot of paint still.
So
I don't know. It's pretty pricey either way.
yeah, the truth is like, well, I have a combination of both. Sometimes I spend a lot of paint, and sometimes
Depends
not.
on the piece.
Yes,
Yeah.
but for you guys, you do a lot of large pieces. You have to just spend a lot just because the framing. I mean, the canvas itself is expensive, and
Yes.
then trying to fill all that, this is a lot of paint.
It's a lot of paint too.
you know.
Yes.
And what if you want to give like many layers to?
Exactly. And different mediums
Mhm.
and so much other things can go into it. Like
I just looking at this
Yeah.
Agustin Larco artwork. That's one of the samples that he use a lot of paint there because
Lots of paint.
it
yeah,
looks like he just
Mhm.
poured the paint
just
and
pour it out.
yes, and then
Mhm.
wait to get dry so he can continue pouring more.
That's true.
create the
That's true.
texture.
Yeah. So again, art can take so many different approaches, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely.
I feel yeah,
Yes.
we're all very different artists.
Yes.
Henry wants to talk. Let's say something here.
I'm saying yes.
What about you, Henry?
But
What?
still all art, which is great.
What about you with your painting? You spend a lot. You feel that you spend a lot of paint, or you feel like oh whatever it takes to make my art cool is I don't mind to spend.
Yeah, I don't feel it. I don't. I just make
Uh,
sure I have the right amount of art supply, like paints, before starting a huge piece. Yes.
It's better to know that you have enough in
Mm-hmm.
order to get the
Yeah.
paint. Yeah, at the end, I think it's important to feel that we did the paint as we want, regardless the amount of paint that you or material that you have to invest in it. I had to
It's
chip
true.
some paint, like just because I,
Oh yeah, that's the difficult
but
part.
I, but
Shipping.
because to make my art look like the way I wanted,
Mm.
I don't mind, like
Yeah.
I just cheap it from whatever.
Sometimes you,
Mhm.
yeah. So sometimes you have to make the cost because you want your painting to be that way. You want it to look that way. So you spend extra. Oh,
Well,
how did it go? Oh, that was an hour.
That was an hour?
Okay.
So we good. We
I
finished.
see that like it was like 3 hours.
No, it felt like
That's
Hello.
So well, I guess we did a great conversation. We a great shot.
Could you hear me better? Okay. Okay, I'm glad. Thank you. That was cool.
So it was interesting.
Yes. Was it
Full,
like was
super.
there enough content? Did we have good
Can you finish the first fucking episode, bro? Like, is this enough now? Can you post the fucking first episode?
exactly.
The fuck?
Exactly.
We,
How
Bro,
was
you
it?
were supposed to do
we
that
have
from
like
Monday.
a 20 episodes now, and we haven't, post the first one.
I know we can actually separate this into a few
Bro,
different
we had content for a year, and you haven't posted the first one, bro.